Yeah, really need to comment on that? And again, this is the same method that he used last weekend, right? Same method, exactly the same thing. Don't get me wrong, just like last weekend, as I said, and you saw the number in the videos there, those videos are still on YouTube and they're still very public. So meanwhile, as I was saying, meanwhile, this leg now, this leg that was the same one you saw most compressed before, this leg that was like this is the position. Numb, completely numb. The nail, don't feel anything. So, oh boy, in a second, I'm going to do that. So, the much too clear. By the way, I'm hearing some noises from the top. I assume it's either the wind or chip or both. Although it's not a person make a lot of different noises, be heavier, it'll be a bunch of things. That's oh boy. Okay, so I can move my feet now. Just showcasing that yet another positional change that is required. At the same time, you see a psychological thing on me, like my behavior, and at the same time, you see the numbness on the leg, not just the pain. The numbness is what's causing the change, I guess. So no, it's just one thing, but either way. So there's that. Okay, this is a common theme. When I was in my other shed over there, the very tiny space, and they were also throwing drugs in the air, you see me mention this numbness all the bloody time. You see me mention this numbness inside the mall when I said that they're drugging me. And me sitting on a comfortable chair, a cushioned chair, with arm support, armrest, right? The one they have in the mall. So, again, nothing I hadn't seen before, and yes, I was the one who interrupted this time. You notice how it is, it's gonna sound funny, because of the attempted appearance of legitimacy. In other words, you see the previous one on the screen, and you know that if you change apps, the thing disappears and doesn't come back. Not always I do that. I try to do that every time, but sometimes I get distracted or whatever. So, by the appearance of the legitimacy, you know, or the propriety, you know it is the lonely, absolute lone person trying to do that with no help at all, being abused by literally everybody else you see, and publishing that for the hacked phone as you just witnessed being hacked. Twice. On that phone and on this one. I don't know if that's usually how it goes when you live, but this is how it goes here. So, and on this phone it'll be through the very video there. And you saw that with no resources, because you know when I went there to purchase the memory to put in there, and what they said, that apparently had it going up by $20. And the memory that originally would cost up to $20, because the memory that originally would cost $50, Brazilian bucks, now costs $100, which is roughly $20. So, double the price. You know when you just occasionally in like 2 weeks doubles the price on something? Because maybe that's the case, right? Maybe there was a major event that would cause the price of only memory cards of 128 gigabytes to go up by double the price, 100% increase. And as I said, if it does, you're gonna know that through other means. You don't need them to do that. You're gonna look at that through China. You look at that through places that are too big and too far away for a piss and shit to have access to and be able to interfere. So maybe you know, right? I can testify on the same day that I purchased a 256 gigabyte for the same price. So when I said there was a surge increase in 128 gigabyte memory cards, I mean a 100% increase in 128 and 64, mind you, both gigabyte cards. 64, they used to be around 25-30, they went up to 50, and the ones that used to be 50 went up to 100. But not the 256 ones. Those 156 ones remain at $100, which is the actual price. So those now went up to $20. Technically, they already cost $20. So I just make it make sense. Just make it make sense. Okay. Again, hence then we start calling Paraguay, anything now in general dumps the country. It was about that time. You could also mention the time when they decided to not allow me in places because I stank. Even though I was wearing 2 layers of clothes and you wouldn't be smelling anything to begin with. You can also see as a response to that. Just to make it clear, I try not to emphasize that too much because you can see that for the videos as we go. And I actually want them to make the argument that they are reacting, even though that you see the patterns of behavior since the first time I went there with Tanya last year. Notice how the guy and Isaiah asked that. We should have the video on the little guy. Unless a major assault happened in the middle of the night that I wasn't aware of, but the card is certainly there. So there's not that anymore. The card is already replaced. It's a new one there. But the issue is it was a previous memory card and it's already kept in a safe place. Hadn't backed up yet because of issues like this one you just saw, but the previous one is backed up, and even that card is backed up to a certain point. I think that they say things already in. Okay, where they would care I'll be receiving the back door, which honestly wasn't even carrying all that much, so long as I could purchase the thing full price with my own money and paying cash as well. So it's not even like there's a chance that they're not being paid. Pretty neat, huh? And I'm a customer that purchased most of those things already for a long time. Now you do see something else, which is the argument that despite the fact that none of that was on YouTube, at least not yet, there was a place that I have already mentioned as the one logical possibility for this phone to be hacked this much. And my assumption was that they were going to just try to disprove me wrong by essentially having everything going normally, so later you'd say, well, we have this guy, when it goes there and everything happens normally. And even though that I say that they're the most likely one, I never saw when it happened. I testify truthfully that when I purchased it was sealed in a plastic bag. It was a generic plastic cover, and when I opened it, it stayed in my sight since the point when I removed it from the plastic until I noticed unrefutable signs of the phone being hacked. I haven't connected to any Wi-Fi, I haven't connected to anything else other than a blank SIM card that I created a new phone line at the moment. So my assumption was that they're just gonna say it wasn't us. Someone else in the middle of the night sealed the thing somehow, or whatever. Okay, but most in general, you're gonna see the general behavior they'll have every day, and go for that. But this seems to have changed as of somewhat recently. They said first a problem with my clothes, and my clothes were ragged that day, so I changed clothes. Now the problem switched to the bags. Next time we're also gonna deal with the bags and see the problem's gonna switch to something else. And then you judge what I've been saying to you. Because again, I'm not retaliating. I'm not responding to that. We mentioned this since the moment when I noticed. Not because I have a beef with them, but because I identified that as the only possible option. And then you decide who's telling the truth. I describe also the reasons why I thought it was that, and it's been consistent since the moment until now. Judge from that what you will. As for the... Oh yeah, there's so many things inside there. When I thought about that, so many things you heard inside in the mall yesterday. It's a lot for you to see.